Welcome to Shamanism 102. Now we're going to move into talking about ceremonies, tools, and creating your own sacred space. In shamanic cultures, an adult is responsible for their own relationships with spiritual energies. Spiritual energies include those energies in their home environment, which when we say home, we tend to think of a house. But in older cultures, home would mean the geographic space where we are and the animals and the plant life in that area, the ancestral spirits that are there, our own personal helping spirits, and Great Spirit or the creative force. The shaman is unique because he or she doesn't just have this increased facility for traveling in the non-ordinary realms, but also the shaman uses his or her spirit relationships to create changes that will manifest in the physical world for individual healing or for healing of the whole community. The definition differentiates shamans from other types of practitioners. For example, a medium will use altered states of consciousness, but they don't take any action in those states. A sorcerer will take action when they're in those states, but they won't necessarily heal. So I want to talk a little bit about the spiritual tools of a shaman. And the first thing I want to do is just to remind you that you are enough. You don't need anything outside of yourself to do your work. But it is nice to have tools, and it's especially nice when they're nice to look at. And I remember Suska, one shaman that I worked with for many retreats, she would kind of lay out all of her different tools and trinkets and spend some time at the beginning of each ceremony kind of putting them in place and touching them and showing them. And she would always end up saying, they're beautiful, but they're really not important. And this is after she would have spent, sometimes up to half an hour showing off all of her different things and talking about the stories and how they came to her. And I really think it's this kind of showmanship as well that is a part of being a shamanic practitioner, to help create a story and to connect with people's subconscious. Tools can be really useful. So when it comes to tools, I really think that the more natural they are, the better. I would always prefer something that was handmade over something that was machine made. I would also really prefer it if there was something that either I had made myself, or if I knew the person who made it, so that the object itself is infused with my own energy and my intentions, or if it was a commission piece that I knew the person who had made it. I understand that that's not always possible, however, but that's how I feel about it, that I feel it would be weird to kind of go and buy something that was prefabricated in a shop, for example. I feel like it would also really nice when it sort of finds me rather than me going out and buying something. When it comes to looking after your tools and magical objects, obviously respect them, take good care of them, keep them clean, keep them away from other people touching them or losing them. These are really personal power tools, and these kind of ceremonial objects should only be handled by the person who's using them. And this could be a good reminder for you as well, that if you see another shamanic practitioner's tools, maybe don't just pick them up without asking permission. And the most important part, as always, is to have fun. When using your tools, they will help transform your spirit in such a way that you can bring about more healing and peace. So when you hold your ceremonies, they should fill you with pleasure and remind you of the day you received them and the spirit in which they were presented to you. So I want to show you just a few ideas of things you could use. So things you find, stones, bones, other kind of objects where it's just imbued with personal meaning for you. Some people really like to have a staff, which could be a symbol of strength. It's good when you're walking long distances to have something to lean on as well, right? Some people really like to work with instruments, and I think most people associate a drum with the shaman, and the drum is a really important power object for creating that vibration of going on our journeys. I know some people prefer rattles, some people really like flutes. There's no fixed things that you have to get, but I really think a drum is a great tool for helping other people go into a journey, and also for yourself. And it could be something that works as a meditation tool as well for you. When it comes to kind of creating your space and having power objects, to have things that represent the different elements. So having a small little bottle of water, a little piece of dirt maybe, a feather, a candle, crystals. Yeah. And the reason why we like crystals is because their vibrations are so fast, which is why they seem so solid. And actually crystals used to be found because they would kind of vibrate their way up through the surface of the Earth's crust. Nowadays we tend to go and dig for them, but before the industrial time, people would just find them because they would just literally like vibrate their way up through the earth. Any kind of charms, little bags, little things to keep your charms in. I know some people really like to have like coins or little statues, little deities, for example. I know a lot of shamans like to carry around pictures of, their teachers or people that have inspired them. Also, a big important thing that a lot of people use, energy cleansers. So sage, Palo Santo, other types of incense, Florida water. There's many different types of energy cleansers that we can use. Oils and herbs. And also feathers. Some people like to put the feathers together and make like fans out of the feathers as well, which can be a really nice tool to use in our healing practices. Then I'm going to talk a little bit just about creating an altar. There'll be handouts about these with a lot more specific ideas and information and structure for how to create an altar if you haven't got one. An altar doesn't have to be a specific type of table or a specific type of look. You can make an altar anywhere. An altar is just a physical place where you keep your tools and your sacred objects. It serves as a sacred space for you to connect with your guiding spirits and inspire you when you go on journeys. It's nice to have like a little area in your house or a space in your home where you can create something beautiful to honor your spiritual practice. If you work in an office, you might make like a tiny little altar version there with just 1 or 2 or 3 items, just to kind of keep your spiritual practice with you also in your work. Make it your own unique place. Make it your own unique creation. Don't see it as something that you have to finish today or within this month, but just maybe start and see it as a lifetime project. I really don't think that you should go running off to try to buy all the things that you need to look like a real shaman. That's not the idea here. The most powerful tools that you will ever have are the ones that will choose you and find their way to you. Again, there's a few handouts for this with more information and more ideas that I suggest you have a look at. Thank you so much.